take my fucking skin color off. I cannot mask this shit, okay? Everywhere I fucking go, I'm profiled whether I like it or not.
That ain't right.
Like, I'm looked at whether I like it or not.
That ain't right.
First of all, I want white people to realize their fucking privilege. Yes, no one can look at you and tell anything about you unless you give them that information. Wherever the fuck I go, I'm profiled. Look at my fucking hair. Look at my skin, bruh. This shit, I can't take this shit off. So guess what? I'ma die about it.
Yes.
I'ma die about my fucking skin. You cannot take my fucking blackness away from me. My blackness is not for your fucking consumption, nigga. It's not. It's not.
Oluwatoyin Ruth Salua, 19, a well-known activist in Tallahassee, Florida, disappeared shortly after tweeting she had been sexually assaulted on June 6, 2020. Known as Toyin to family and friends, she had graduated from Lincoln High School in 2018. She had studied cosmetology and began modeling, but her passion was activism. Toyin was a regular at Black Lives Matter protests. He was actively protesting the killing of Tony McDade, a Black trans man, at the hands of police. At the beginning of this video shows a clip of her speaking at one of the protests. She had enrolled in community college while still actively attending Lively. She was going to study law at Florida A&M University. Toyin disappeared Saturday, June 6, after a number of disturbing tweets. She was missing from June 6, 2020 to June 13th. On the morning of June 6, Toyin tweeted about being molested. She tweeted, "A man came to her as a man of God." She tweeted how this man told her he would help her find a place to sleep. She had been staying in what she called unjust conditions. She wrote how she entered his truck only because she trusted in the Holy Spirit to keep her safe. She tweeted how, when they arrived to his house, he exposed himself to her by leaving the bathroom door open when he used the bathroom. She tweeted how he offered her a shower and he allowed her to change her clothes. She tweeted that she told him about a previous sexual assault that had happened to her earlier in March involving a 32-year-old Ghanaian man, how he had tried to force her to have oral sex and had harassed her for days thereafter. She tweeted how this man that she had confided in was now molesting her. She tweeted that he removed her clothing and came on to her. She tweeted about how he touched her body and the things he did to her before he fell asleep. She tweeted how she tried, but she didn't know how to find her way back to the church. Toyin tweeted that she was literally wearing this man's DNA. Toyin also tweeted that she had reported the sexual assault to the police, and her abductor obviously knew she was going to report him also. On June 13th, the bodies of Toyin Salua and Vicky Sims were found at the home of a man by the name of Aaron Glee. Vicky Sims was an elderly 75-year-old who knew Mr. Glee through volunteer work. Vicky Sims had been reported missing on June 11th. A neighbor of Vicky Sims happened to go over to her home because her door was ajar. She peeked in and saw that the elderly woman was not home. The neighbor noticed that the elderly woman's home had been ransacked, and she and her car were missing. The bodies were found after police used GPS to track Vicky Sims' cell phone. Aaron Glee was arrested in Orlando, Florida, hours after the women's bodies were found inside his rented home. He confessed twice, once to the officers when he was at the precinct, and the other to his 67-year-old mother when he made a phone call to her. What we do know is that he met Toyin at a bus stop. He spoke with her for about an hour before he offered her a ride to pick up her things at a church she had been staying at. But instead of the church, he took her to his house where he exposed himself to her, molested her. She somehow, without her cell phone, was able to get to her Twitter account. After that, she wasn't seen again in person or heard of until her body with Vicky Sims was found at Mr. Glee's rented home. Vicky Sims, whom Glee would refer to as his white grandmother at times, was called by Glee to the bus stop on June 6 to give he and Toyin a ride to his home. Obviously, he knew that Toyin was going to report him, and he would go back to jail. June 1st, he had just been released on bond pending a sexual assault for beating a woman who had rejected his sexual advances. Aaron Glee had a criminal record that dated back to 1989. During his confession, he said that he felt he had no other choice but to kill Toyin or go back to jail. Police believe that he killed Vicky Sims because she could be the possible witness to him being the last person with Toyin before her disappearance. This is a sad ending to a bright life and a young activist that had her whole life in front of her to be taken out by a person like the type of people she liked to help. Although she was practically homeless, she was still out on the front lines protesting against police brutality against unarmed black men. So sad that it was a black man that took her life. I feel that this young lady would have done many great things. Rest in peace, Toyin, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.